Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for some very interesting news. Wales eyeing out a future potential star, trying to lock him down and steal him from the Bulls. And very interesting to see how this will happen and what will happen. And in terms of what Warren Gatland is willing to try and do to try and poach a potential Talapau Falatau replacement in the years to come. And I'm talking about none other than Cameron Hanekom from the Bulls. So before we talk about exactly what's going on, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so he wasn't a household name a few weeks ago. He's starting to jump into everybody's Twitter feeds, YouTube highlights, and enter the rugby conversation. 21-year-old Cameron Hanekom announced himself in style. He started with a man of the match victory, a man of the match performance in the Bulls' victory against Scarlets when they won 63 points 21 in Pretoria at the start of the season. All of a sudden, everyone is getting very excited about the next big player off the production line of South African giant loose forwards. And a giant he really is. He stands at 6'4", well over 100 kgs. A bit of a unit, and very, very exciting in that he carries very well, big, strong man, and very young in that he's 21 years old. Actually born in the year 2002, which starts to make me feel very old. But either way, so he has sort of announced himself, and everybody's sort of talking about, this very special talent. But a very interesting thing about Cameron Hanekom is he's actually Welsh qualified. I think it's a grandmother he's got, but he's got a Welsh grandparent, and therefore qualifies to actually play for Wales. And apparently, according to WalesOnline.com, Wales are quite aware of this and might be looking into the possibility of trying to lure him away from South Africa and to Wales. So yeah, at the moment, Warren Gatland, in terms of the Wales squad, is very much building for the future. He's looking at putting together a side for the 2027 World Cup to try and turn the sort of Welsh side around. Probably try and be competitive in the Six Nations within the next sort of 2 years, and really aim for that 2027 World Cup as the one to really be competitive at. So he's looking at young players. Now, somebody who's not particularly young is Talapau Falatau, who's been one of the best dates of all time, if you ask me. I genuinely think he's in that conversation, and maybe doesn't be spoken about enough. But he is coming to the end of his career, and so they are looking for a potential new number 8. And look, there are very good loose forwards in Wales, but apparently he is looking at Cameron Hanekom as a genuine option. Which is interesting. Look, I don't think at this stage Cameron Hanekom's thinking too much about it, but he is very much suddenly on the radar for a lot of teams. He'll be on the radar for a lot of teams, and look, a lot would have to happen for him to play Wales. First of all, Chancellor probably needs to start playing for a Welsh side. I'm sure they'll be looking to try and get him over to Wales. They're going to try and swing his loyalty. I suppose Dylan Richardson is maybe the exception to the rule in terms of players being picked for other countries whilst playing for South Africa and South African qualified. Dylan Richardson, being picked up by Scotland. So it's not out of question, except for the fact that Wales would have to change their policies, and they would need him playing in Wales for him to be up for selection. So it will be very interesting, with especially with sort of the expansion that Wales are going with. So. This is according to Wales Online, and they reference the Welsh Rugby Union's Exiles program, which basically is they're looking outside of Wales, looking around the world for Welsh qualified players that they could potentially try and convince to either come play rugby in Wales and then for Wales. And apparently Cameron Hanekom very much part of that list, and a genuine option for Warren Gatland. Do I see it happening? No, well, it depends. It's easy to say right now. He's a star that's come through, a 720 player, and everybody's suddenly going, oh, hang on, who's this kid? And so right now, he'll know that there's a lot of tension on him, and he'll be sitting there saying, right, well, I'm sure, to be perfectly honest, he played for SC under 20. Why would you not want to play for the Springboks instead of Wales right now? I think he feels a lot of allegiance to South Africa. Obviously, born and bred in South Africa, and played in South Africa, played for South Africa at junior levels. And so right now, I wouldn't be thinking of anything besides playing for the Springboks. However, we know how difficult it is to become a Springbok. And, I think as the years go by, if he continues to perform and doesn't quite get that call-up, for example, then suddenly, all of a sudden, you might sit there and think, well, maybe I'll make that move, Does he look at the other number 8s in the country and go, I'm going to have a bit part role, it's going to be really difficult for me to have a long career, a long international career at 8 for South Africa, whereas I could go over to Wales and become a superstar for them. And it's difficult to know what different players want. I mean, if he's looking, for example, to immigrate, as a lot of players, are looking for moves overseas. He could go to Wales, play for Wales, for example. It doesn't sacrifice his overseas career by leaving the country, which he doesn't necessarily do from a South African perspective. But I do think that you are far more likely to be called up to the Springboks whilst playing your rugby in Springbok in South Africa, at least for the first call-up. What do you think happens? Do you think there's any chance that he decides to go play for Wales? Or do you think Warren Gatland's got the wrong man and he's going to be, only eyes focused on the Springboks for the rest of his career and won't even give this a second thought? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Smash like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve, and I'll chat to you soon.